I really want to talk to you about why you should stop hiding. It sounds so easy to say, hey, stop hiding. You need to start showing up. You need to be on camera, share your greatness with the world, let people know what you know, share your value, all the things. It sounds very easy to say. But for you, it's like, man, I'm not ready for this. I don't feel like I'm equipped. I don't feel confident enough. I don't want to share my face. I don't want to be on camera. You all these things. And I've been there as well. But I was just really led to talk about why you should stop hiding because I have been there and I've seen how hiding has held me back. I've come such a long way from hiding behind the scenes, be the self proclaimed behind the scenes girl, not showing up, to literally making one decision, and that was just to position myself more on camera, to share my knowledge, and just to keep betting on myself. Hey guys, welcome back to Carey Digital, where I teach you how to create, connect, and earn in the digital space. So, if it's your first time here, thanks for visiting. And it has transformed my life entirely. I've got more confidence on camera. I've been sharing just my knowledge on a lot of things. If you follow me here, you realize I talk a lot about Canva and branding and all the things. But those are just the surface level things you're seeing because it really took me a very long time to get to this place. So before I was on camera, I used to be this person who would be very quiet. I would know something but not share it. I'd want to do something but not share it. I would have this deep burning desire to do something and not do it because fear. That's just the honest truth. Fear of being criticized, the fear of being rejected, fear of failure, and even fear of success. It sounds weird, but that's the truth. And because I was hiding, that meant I was silent. Because I was hiding, that meant I was concealing my true, authentic self. And it could be the same for you. You've clicked on this video, so quite possibly it's the same for you. And I used to hide behind the scenes, I hide behind the screen, I hide behind my designs. And, it cost me a lot of opportunities, if I want to be honest. And that is the opportunity to impact and to share and to pour into the lives of others who needed to hear either my story, who needed to learn from me, who needed to gain something from me, all because I was just crippled by my own self limiting beliefs and fear. And so I wanted to talk about this because I've been working a lot with women entrepreneurs, women who come to me to request designs and get branding and all the things. And I have been more recently, like they would come and like, hey, Carey, I need this design. I was like, no, to be honest, you don't need a design for this. You need to be on camera. And I realized how easy it was for me to say, hey, you need to be on camera. And I felt almost hypocritical to say that because I was like, think about where you were 5 years ago, Carey, where if someone told you to be on camera, go on camera to share your knowledge, you would be like, no, not me, not me. And it's easy for me to say no because I know the power of what being on camera and what showing up can do. But I also understand where you could be right now, where it feels so overwhelming, crippling to the point where you're like, listen, I'd rather find other ways to do this than to be on camera, than to show up. And like I said, I work in a lot of women entrepreneurs, and you have heard them say, "Well, can I do a faceless video? Well, can I just create video carousels?" And I mean, those things can work, but if you know you have this burning desire and something powerful to share with the world, but you keep holding back yourself because you don't want to show your face, you don't want to be on camera, you don't like your voice, you don't like how you look, you think you need a perfect everything. Um, yeah, you're doing yourself a disservice. You are doing yourself a disservice. And I want to share a quick story about my journey. So I grew up as a child who's just very shy. Um, really struggled with confidence and self-esteem issues. And it was so something that just followed me throughout a good portion of my life. Even in high school or just in school, I would be afraid to ask questions because I was afraid of being wrong or looking stupid. It sounds so weird to say no, but those are the feelings I had. Like, I don't want to sound stupid. I don't want to sound silly. I don't want whatever, whatever. I don't think it makes sense. And that followed me even in my career because I would be in meetings and have this idea and I don't share it. I don't ask questions because I didn't want to look wrong or feel wrong or whatever. So I was just literally hiding all the time. But I was just always doing things regardless, even though I was just hiding, I was always doing things, but I wasn't sharing it. So there was this era of when everyone was blogging. I was just very heavily into blogging. I would be blogging, but no one would know who is behind the blog. I'm just like this mystery person behind the blog. Pretty good content, everything. But I remember when I created this specific blog called For Women to Women. That's a platform that has literally helped to shift my entire life in a great way. I created this blog. I created it fresh out of university. Created this blog, was just blogging all the time, sharing stories, sharing this, sharing that. But people hardly knew who was behind the blog, to be honest. I would do these Twitter chats. And I remember person started asking me like, hey, we love the blog, we love the content, but at this point we want in-person events. And I'm like, me, no, hell no. I'm not gonna do that because I'm behind the scenes. I don't need to be whatever. And I remember feeling like, man, I am stuck. I felt very stuck because I just kept doing the same thing, writing the blogs, doing the things, reaching a level of growth. But when you reach that point of growth, when okay, I am buck here. But if I do this one thing, it will shift everything. That's how I started to feel. And so I started to feel this little buck or this limit that because I had placed it on myself, I couldn't go over it. And so I was like, okay, my audience is asking for in-person events. I'm going to give it a shot. And I remember hosting an event. I was like bringing together 10 women, moving the conversations from online to in-person and just, being there. And I remember the first event, I brought together 10 women. And for me, it was just so nerve-wracking because, I mean, naturally, I'm introverted. I like being by myself in my own space, just doing my thing behind the scenes. So shifting from being online to in-person was just a huge, big, huge step for me. Nonetheless, I did it, and that first in-person event really opened my eyes that in-person connection does a lot. It does a lot for you, but it also allows person to see your personality. So that's where the first shift of hiding to showing up really worked. But I still had little struggles here and there, right? I was doing the events here and there. Yes, sure, it was growing and whatever, but I still had a certain amount of struggles. Like, boy, even though I'm showing up, I'm going to go back in my shell. So I'd keep showing up, go back in my shell, show up, go back in my shell. And like I said, there are some things that will work until it will not work anymore. Anyway, years after, I realized I had reached back another point of feeling stuck, like knowing I really deeply wanted to do something, but realized in order to achieve that, I needed to do something differently. And what I needed to do at the time was to build my confidence because I don't feel like I was confident enough. Like I would know things, share things, but I wasn't very confident. Anyway, I made a decision 5 years ago to start showing up on camera. And that decision was to one, to share more of what I know well with others. I want people to know what I knew really well. And I wanted to build my confidence just as a person, but also on camera. And I made that decision one night, very late, close to minutes to 11, created this YouTube video on Canva, a tutorial on how to create video or create using Canva. Very beginner friendly video. My face wasn't showing, but I posted it and that was it. And then the other videos after that, I started showing my face. And when I show my face and recording the videos, I'll be sweating, fumbling over my words, very nervous, just also very conscious of, boy, how do I look? How do I sound? Will people think this? Will people, whatever? I was just thinking a lot about what people would think, what people would say. And so a lot of me hiding, I realized had to do with my fear of being criticized, my fear of being rejected, my fear of not being accepted, all the things. And those things held me back. And so for you, you might also be struggling that way because you have this fear of what people are saying or what people will say or if it will land. And because you're in that zone, you're not showing up. But I want to tell you, you're doing yourself a disservice. And at some point, you're going to have to make a decision for yourself that you don't want to live and be like that because you have something so deep within you that's burning, that is waiting to be birthed. And that if you don't birth that thing, it almost feel like you're literally going to be crippling yourself and stalling your own life. So, how are you going to do that? The first thing I would say is to make a conscious decision. Make a conscious decision that you're going to stop hiding and concealing your authentic, your true self because of what others would think or say. And when I say you're going to stop hiding, that means you're not going to conceal your authentic self. One of the powers that I've identified since I've been more on camera and stepping from behind the scenes, that persons were able to see me for who I am. And I might not resonate with everyone, but I know I resonate with the people who need to see me and the people who need to hear me. Because guess what? Whether you hide yourself or you show up as your true full self, not you will not be everybody cup of tea, right? So might as well just show up as your true self and let those who need to see you, hear you, connect with you, find you and connect with you. And those who are not for you, then they find someone else. Don't it? It makes sense. So how can you make that shift from hiding to showing up? And the first thing I would say is to remove the mask. Remove the mask. Like, listen, man, start showing up as your true, authentic self. Share your personality, the things you're interested in, your thoughts, your values, your perspectives on the things that you know you should be talking about and sharing with your audience. And before you start thinking about others, start thinking about yourself, right? Thinking about, listen, how do I really want to show up in this space, in this world? Not just online, but just generally. Because here's what, when you start showing up, how you show up online must also kind of with how you show up in person. So remove that mask and start, sharing who you are authentically and embrace who you are authentically as well. Let your personality shine and those who should embrace you, trust me, they're going to embrace you. And those who are not for you, then they'll just be where they should be, right? And then another thing is that people will see and know if you're faking it. So if you're gonna show up and be fake, people are gonna see it. They're gonna see it. They're gonna know it. And I like to say it is easier to show up as yourself than to fake it because at some point you're gonna get tired. You're gonna get tired of just like trying to put on a show. So just be yourself. Allow people to see you for who you are, the things that light you up, the things that excite you, the things you care deeply about, and just share your thoughts and your perspectives and share your value. Another thing I want to talk about here is your self-acceptance, and it comes back to embracing who you are. So accept yourself for your flaws and the things that make you unique and just share that, right? Think about some of your favorite content creators. A lot of them are showing up as who they are, right? They show up as, you have some persons who they speak very fast and if you can work with it, you work with it. If it's not, then you move on. And you have some persons who have just very big, bold personalities, and those who, are about who can embrace it, embrace it. If you can't, you can't. And then you have some who just speak very softly and, have this nurturing vibe about them. And that's who they are and who is for them. Just embrace them, right? So just accept yourself for who you are and just reveal who you are in that way. And like I mentioned earlier, what it does is that it creates room for you to connect with the people who are for you. The people who watch my channel, the people who subscribe to my channel are the people for me, right? They need to hear me, they need to see me, they need to learn from me. Those are the people for me. And what it does when you start showing up as yourself and you move from hiding to showing up is that you start building this community, right? You start creating space for persons to truly connect with you in a deeper way. And if I want to be honest, when you start showing up, you liberate yourself, right? You don't have to think about, oh, I'm creating this thing, but I'm going to hide it. I'm going to conceal it. No, none of that. And I just went to remove my book because I have my notebook here, just, looking at some notes that I wanted to share. But really and truly, showing up and removing yourself from hiding really creates room for you to be more liberated. And it will definitely shift how you even show up in the world, right? I think, yeah, it will shift how you show up in the world. What I want to share is that you should stop hiding. You should stop hiding. And you have clicked on this video because you know that you have been hiding for far too long. So this video is part of my Stop Hiding series where I will be sharing a story, a strategy, and an action step to show up more boldly, with clarity, with confidence, and with courage. And of course, if this resonates with you and you know someone who could benefit, of course, hit that like, subscribe to this channel, and follow along. For more details in terms of this challenge, the info will be in the description, where I will be just giving you some tools that can help you to, move from behind the scenes and transform your life into one where you are showing up more confidently, with clarity and with the courage, and talking to the people while also just showing up as an authentic self. And of course, at the end of the 7-day series, I will be doing a 3-part webinar series where I'll be touching on clarity, how to create, and how to show up. I'm giving you the exact approach that I took to transform my personal brand, and even just not just a personal brand, but transform my life from hiding to showing up more boldly and confidently. So all the details is in the description. And of course, thanks for watching.